Well, hi, and how are you doing out there in internet land? My name is Brian Trippett. I am your front porch conservative, and this is Front Porch Brunch, our little weekend get together where we talk about the news, we give our views, and we try and straighten out all the problems of the world, or at least solve some of our own. My name is Brian Trippett. I am sometimes known in social media as the Front Porch Conservative. Sometimes I am called the fine fella in the fedora. I am on occasion called the beau in the chapeau, but I am, in this moment, above all else, your host. We are on Rumble, we are on Twitter, and we are on that quaint little alternative social media platform known as YouTube. So if you would not mind, please, if you're not subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and do so. Also, hit the bell for notifications. I want to make sure you're always aware when new stuff is coming out. Leave a comment, hit that like button, because that like button is very, very important. Glad to have it and glad to see everybody doing it. Share the link around to your friends. Go crazy, you guys, because after all, it is Easter weekend. And we're going to touch on some of that. Touch on some of Easter weekend and its meaning. And we're going to touch on the question of a modern culture and religion, which is a subject I don't get into that often, but I kind of thought given the weekend, this might be a good time to do it. So settle in. I hope you've poured yourself a cup of something, because Lord knows I have, because I will need it. And let's have some fun. Now, I realize that, people are going to be traveling. They're going to be cooking. They got family in, and that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. But we're going to try and, honor commitments to you guys, because, I love hanging out with you on Saturday mornings. I love getting together, talking about what's going on. So, yeah, we're going to have some fun this morning. All right, let's see who all's in the house. We're going to start, as we are wont to do, over on Rumble with the OG Wingnuts. And I can see WWG1 has been very busy. And yes, my brother, I've got them all lined up. So there you go. TBA is here, and he says, I've got company coming in a little while, so I'll be lurking as they arrive. Lurkers are allowed. We love lurkers. And by the way, I know you Rumble people. Y'all lurk all the time. You're lurking here, you're lurking there, you're lurking everywhere. But you know what? We love you. But you don't have to lurk. If you say something in chat, we will welcome you with open arms. And so long as you're polite to your fellow chatters, we really don't care. So just, you can come on out of the darkness. Y'all stop your lurking, and you can be among those, TBA says we get a lot of lurkers. Yeah, I know that, but daggone it, I'm trying to encourage those lurkers to be participants. Daggone it. So yeah, we love the lurkers, but y'all speak up. You don't have to be over there just lurking around. Even if it's a hi and how you doing. So we'll take some of that. All right, let's see who's over on the YouTube side of things. Now this is nice of you, dear. Thank you. You filled my Saturday with such joy. Aw. Well, now I think I understand what I had. IHOP pancakes just now. Bouncing off the walls is inevitable. It's an American dream. I want you to know, Z Highness, that according to some constitutional scholars, pancakes at IHOP is one of those, hidden, mysterious conundrums. That it's one of those hidden rights there in the Constitution. So if you've had pancakes at IHOP this morning, that is perfectly allowed, and daggone it, we love you for it. So with that, and some fist bumps for the boys over on Rumble. So let's see who else is here in the house. The Duke is here. I am here in the search for understanding. Well, you've searched and you have found your way here. Now, whether you're going to understand anything after I'm done or not, I have no idea, but we're glad to have you here, Duke. Let's see who else is here. Good morning, lovely Lana. Mwah. Oh, and for the Duke, a fist bump. Let's see. Adam's in the house this morning. Adam is here. Good morning, sir. By the way, I saw a snippet of a debate up in Canada between your current installed Prime Minister Carney and Pierre Poilievre. Sorry. Every time I hear his name, I keep thinking of Pierre LePew. I don't know why, but I saw a bit of a debate, and am I interpreting it correctly that it did not go well for Carney, or am I just off on that one, Adam? Anyway, you just fill me in on what you know. Let's see who else is here. Do we get some egg puns to crack us up? Oh, God, that is just awful. That's just. Oh my God, that's wrong in so many different ways, sir. Just wrong. But you know what? It's Easter weekend. I'll forgive you for it. Robert's in the house this morning. Morning to all you hat speech enthusiasts. I like that. I got to remember that one. I like that. Hat speech enthusiast. That's right. Are you about hate speech? No, sir. We are about hat speech. Thank you very much. Oh, really? Did he now? Did he? So Pierre Polyev did very well against Carney. Now, your guys' election is in what, 1 week? What, I think it's on what, the 28th of April, I think? Am I wrong about that? Or what date is your national election up there? Because I keep thinking in my head it's the 28th. But just let me know, because yeah, I need to start getting ready to keep an eye on that one. So, because that one's kind of got some definite implications, as it were. The Canadian British broadcast company is lying about the polls. Wow, the media lying about the results of polls. Count me shocked. Good morning, Miss Gypsy, and happy Easter weekend to you. Good to have you in the house this morning. It's Monday the 28th. Okay. All right. So you guys are down to about 1 week, and you know what, Brother Adam? I am from the lower 48. We's praying for y'all up there. We's praying for y'all. Matter of fact, I might reach out to Sean and to Kelly and see if they can give me an election night preview or some such, or maybe, I don't know. We'll figure out something. We'll figure out something. Anyway, glad to have you all here this morning. It is Easter weekend, and TBA says we all need prayers. You know, we're going to get, like I said, we're going to get into a little bit of a discussion of Christianity, American culture, where we're at, et cetera, and going forward. So yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to this. So anyway, but in the meanwhile, we're going to be wholly inappropriate with some memes, and yes, we have quite a few of them this morning. Compliments of WWG1, myself, and others. So with that, let's just dive right in. To get out the inappropriate out of the way before we get to the more holy things we ought to be focused on this weekend. So anyway, as you all know, recently, Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin launched a complete group of females up into outer space. Now, they weren't up there very long. They're up there for 11 minutes, but, they made as much of it as they possibly could. I mean, it consisted of a group of women one of them was Katy Perry, Laura Sanchez, Jeff Bezos' main squeeze, Gayle King, I believe she's formerly of CBS News, et cetera, and so on. So, and they all returned to Earth safely. Glad that they're back. Now this is one of those nicknames that many people have associated this flight with. Just I don't know. Anyway, now, so y'all have heard about that. And, these ladies did return to Earth safely after their 11-minute flight. Glad to have them back down on the terra firma, as it were. But Bezos, never being one to miss a business opportunity, has come up with something to try to financially capitalize off of this situation. Gee, imagine that. As you all know, he is the owner of Amazon Studios, which is, pretty significant. They're actually in the movie making business, creating entertainment, that sort of thing. And Bezos thinks he's come up with an idea. He's come up with an idea for a new film. I don't know if the working title is going to go that far, though. Personally, I think Bezos needs to rethink this title because, I don't know, guys. This might get him in trouble. That's all I'm saying. This might get him in trouble. So if you see a film coming out about this in the near future, just understand right now, this is the working title. I don't know if this is going to remain that way. So there you go. Well, no, I don't begrudge them either. I don't begrudge them either. Look, if they were offered the opportunity, they were healthy enough to do it. They made the decision to do it. And I have no doubt that it's going to profoundly affect their lives going forward. I mean, look, when William Shatner went up, given his cultural significance as Captain Kirk, etc. I don't have any doubt that this is going to affect their lives. I'm kind of like you. I wouldn't call him astronaut. Oh, wait a minute. You think that title's a little too accurate, Robert? You think this is a little too accurate? Now look. I happen to have a certain amount of love for Katy Perry. Don't agree with her on everything, but she's always been a cutie in my eyes. Now Laura Sanchez, well, that might be possible, brother. That's all I'm saying. That might be possible. But yeah, I don't. Yeah, I agree with you. Who was it? Said it a minute ago. Was it TBA over on Rumble says Sally Ride would be embarrassed? Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I totally agree with that. Well, in other movie-related news, Joe Biden is back. As you all know, he recently gave his first post-presidency speech in Chicago, Illinois, speaking out against some of the things that the Trump administration is doing. But as a former president and now a private citizen, he is always looking for a business opportunity. Matter of fact, he hired an agent out in California to try and help him line up some movie deals, endorsements, that sort of thing. And apparently, he's got his first project in the works, which is it's going to be a live adaptation of a video game. Which, I mean, that seems to be common these days. I mean, you see a lot of that happening out there. And they have actually come up with a poster for this new endeavor of Joe Biden's, and our spies here on the electronic front porch managed to get their hands on it. Joe Biden is going to be starring in a film called Call of Duty: Commander-in-Chiefs. Again, I don't know how well this one's going to go over. Sometimes you need entertainment just for escape purposes, and frankly, I don't know if this is escapism or it's too close to the truth. I'm leaning toward it's too close to the truth. So I don't know how I don't know how successful old Joe's going to be with this one. So I'm just saying. Oh, bless his heart. Call of Duty Commander-in-Chiefs. My goodness. Oh, by the by, did you guys hear, speaking of movies, did you guys hear that actor Vince Vaughn recently visited the White House and had some conversations with Donald Trump? I didn't know this. I didn't know this till like Thursday or Friday of last week. Now, no one really knows for sure the content of their conversation. And to be perfectly honest, nobody really knows what is said between visitors to the White House and the President of the United States. Doesn't matter if it's Trump or Biden or, whoever. Okay. These conversations, as you would expect, are kind of private. But one person has speculated that Vince Vaughn may have been going to the White House to pitch a entertainment idea to Donald Trump. And out of that, we may, in the near future, see the following. Because, look, Trump's got to do something after the presidency's over with anyway. So, I could see a thing where Vince Vaughn and Donald Trump star in a movie called White House Crashers. So, I'm not saying, I don't know how this is going to turn out, but this might very well be happening, folks. I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. So, Vince Vaughn, always looking for the opportunity, looking for that angle. Trump, smart businessman. Maybe they're going to do this. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they'll make it happen. We'll see. All right. What else is going on out there in the world? Yes. Yes. I've got some news for you guys who are cultural history buffs. As I'm sure many in this audience are aware, at the base of the Statue of Liberty is a poem called "The New Colossus," and believe it goes something like, "Give us your poor, your tired, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free." Speaking in the terms of Lady Liberty, I lift my lamp beside the golden door. Well, apparently, in this age in which we find ourselves, the new Colossus is about to be rewritten. As a matter of fact, there are some proposed ideas for changing the words, and some of them says, "Bring me the hostile freeloaders waving their own flags." I don't know how well this is going to go over, folks. I mean, look, we'll see. I mean, we will see. I don't know yet. I just don't know. We'll see what will happen here. I don't know. But personally, I kind of like the old words, so I just rather leave it alone. But that's just me. All right. What else have we got here in the way of the merry memes? Oh, Salty Old Fart is here this morning. Glad to see him here. Welcome in, my brother. Boom. There you go. Yeah, a tad too accurate, sadly. I agree with you on that. All right. What else have we got going on in the way of the merry memes this morning? Okay. This one isn't necessarily a meme, but I'm going to kind of put this one up there to just let it sink in. But before I do, I have to say hello to a lovely lady, Miss Pate. Good morning, my darling. And Salty Old Fart, fist bump to you, my friend. All right. This isn't necessarily a meme, but it does give you something to think about. And I'm just going to pop this up here for a second. And remember, folks, perhaps there would not be so many conspiracy theories if there were not so many conspiracy theories. I'd like to take this one step further and ask a question that I think is very, very relevant in this day and age in which we find ourselves. And the question goes like this. What is the difference between a conspiracy theory and the truth? About 4 months. Duke. No, wait a minute. Now, Duke says that Biden is going to star as Governor Lepetamine in a Blazing Saddles remake. I could see that happening. Duke. I really could. WWG1 over on Rumble says the difference between the truth and a conspiracy theory, now it's more like 3 days. Brother, you may have spoke more on that one than you know. That's all I'm saying. I tell you what. Oh, hey, T. Gagliati is in the house. T, what up? Boom. Glad to have you here. Oh, my goodness. Will Corn Pop be playing the sheriff? I think that's possible. Adam, I think that's very possible. Oh, good morning, my dear. Mwah. Glad to have you here. You just take your time. You do whatever you got to do. We're glad to have you in the house. And glad everybody's bringing friends. We're glad to have y'all here. Oh, and y'all are chirpy this morning, and I'm just loving every minute of it. Oh, goodness me. Love it. Okay. These last 2 or 3 are going to kind of lead into our first subject of the morning. But, people cannot understand why it was Donald Trump won in 2016 and won again in 2024. Okay. But you know what? I'm going to put something up here, and I'm going to let you read it, or I'll read it for you. Let me put it that way. I know you all have the perfect capability of reading. But I'm going to read this for you, and I want you to sit and think about this for a second. And if you're trying to understand why it is that Donald Trump won, well, consider the following. Talking about this whole Kilmar Garcia situation, the Maryland Police Department says he's MS-13. Immigration judge number 1, he's MS-13. Immigration Custom Enforcement says he's MS-13. Immigration judge number 2 says Garcia is MS-13. The El Salvadoran president, yeah, he's one of ours, and he's MS-13. Democrats in America, he's a Maryland dad. Yeah, he's a Maryland dad. Donald Trump says, shit like this is why I won. You know? I mean, think about it. If you think about the totality of that meme, and your lefty friends out there cannot understand why it is that Donald Trump wins elections, in part, the logic behind that meme explains it all. So just think about that. All right. A couple last things. Oh, Robert, I saw that comment. We're going to get into that, brother. We're going to get into that. Now, you know, I've been talking for a few weeks now about the need for the Democrat Party to rebrand. And rebranding is not just, you know, a marketing thing. It's ideas, it's everything. But part of it, you know, part of it truly is marketing. Okay. Part of it is marketing. And the Democrats, I mean, to tell you how shaken they are from their loss in 2024, they are thinking about rebranding the label of the Democrat Party. Now, traditionally, as y'all know, the label of the Democrat Party has been a donkey. Okay. I prefer to call it what it is. It's a jackass, which means, you know, the Democrat is the party of the jackass. So, you know, but they are thinking about rebranding, and they've got two choices, and they don't quite know which one they ought to go with. So I thought we might help them out. So I'm going to show you the two options that the Democrats are considering as far as their actual party label. And I, you know, if you, depending on which one you like, if you like the first one, put a 1 in chat. And if you like the second one, put a 2 in chat. Okay. So here's your first option. This is one of the labels that the Democrat Party aficionados and Grand Party poobahs and all that good stuff are considering as their new party logo. Okay. Now, if you like this one, put a 1 in the chat. Okay. All right. Now, the other option that the Democrats are considering is a little more modern. So with that, here is option number 2. Okay. This is option number 2. This is the second option that the Democrats are considering as far as redoing their party label. Okay. So like I say, if you like option number 1, and I'll put it back up here real quick, that's option number 1. Okay. If you like option number 2, you know, let's see what you got. That's option number 2. So let's see what kind of results we're getting here. Lana is going for option number 2. The Duke is going for number 1. Okay, I can respect that. I can respect that totally. Gypsy is all about option number 2. Over on Rumble, the OG Wingnuts, TBA and WWG1 are like, oh, they're both option number 2. Salty Old Fart says, 1 and 2. I'm selfish. I want them both. That's great. Z Highness is Z Highness is all about option number 1. Oh, we got a divided panel here. I thought this was kind of let's see. Patty says, one, that second cute donkey doesn't deserve that. Hold that thought, darling, because I tell you what, we're going to get into that here in a minute. Adam is going for option number 2. I think 2 is going to win out by a nose, or in this case, an ass. Tigagiati is over. He says option number 2. Folks, I think we have a winner here. I think the symbol of the Democrat Party going forward, if you start seeing this, you'll know what happened. I mean, I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. Okay. Thank you guys so much for all the contributions on the memes. As always, it is greatly, greatly appreciated. And with that, we're okay. Well, now Chipsy's given a reason why option number 2 might have won. It's all about the tattoos. Well, okay, all right. Now, see, I'm getting this from both sides here. Number 2 does resemble Eeyore a little too much. I wasn't thinking Eeyore, but Adam's like, does that donkey have Eddie Murphy's voice? Well, y'all over on the YouTube side, WWG1 says that second one looks a little too much like the donkey from Shrek that went bad. Oh, man, I tell you, this audience, I love you guys. I love you guys. I love you guys. TBA says number 2 is closer to the truth. Very, very true. Now, like I said, this all leads us into our first topic of the morning. And I've got a picture, and I want to put this up here. And I just want to talk about this for a minute, okay? All right. Now, this was from the BBC. And the picture is circulating around the internet. So, I mean, it's not like this is exclusive to this is not exclusive to the BBC. They're just, they've picked up on a picture that, it's out there, among various services. Okay. And I want to put this up here, and I'm going to stop talking, and I want this to sink in for a second. Okay. So I want y'all to take a really good look at this. Okay. This is a picture of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the Maryland man, let me rephrase that. The man who was residing in Maryland, who was deported to El Salvador, and United States Senator Chris Van Hollen, Democrat of Maryland. Okay. I just want you to take a look at this for a second. Now, the reason that I want to dwell on this picture for just a moment is this. I want to remind folks on the left of some things. Okay? First of all, this guy right here in the blue jacket, he's a United States Senator. He's supposed to be the representative of the residents of the state of Maryland, or maybe better to say, citizens of the United States who reside in Maryland. That's probably the better way to say it. This guy in the blue jacket is supposed to represent citizens of the United States who reside in the state of Maryland. Okay? This guy in the ball cap and the bleeding madras checkered shirt, y'all didn't think I knew what bleeding madras was, but I am that old. This guy in the hat and the bleeding madras checkered shirt is not a citizen of the United States. He used to reside in Maryland, but he ain't a citizen of the United States. Okay? This man is not a citizen of the United States. Kilmar Abrego Garcia is not a citizen of the United States. But this guy in the blue jacket is hot to trot to go down to El Salvador and try and extricate this man who is not a citizen of the United States from an El Salvadoran jail and bring him back to America. So this man who is not a citizen of the United States can reside in the state of Maryland. Okay? Now, I say all that to set up the following. And this is a question, and I'm not even going to address this question to the political leadership of the Democrat Party, because they ain't no sense doing it. Okay? There's no sense doing it. You've made your choice. It's obvious to everybody you've made your choice. If the choice is representing the interests of the citizens of the United States versus representing a bunch of people who are not Americans, you've made your choice. It's kind of obvious. You're prepared to represent the people who are not citizens of the United States among the other fringe, non-majority groups that make up the Democrat Party currently. Okay? This question is to regular rank-and-file Democrats. Okay? And I don't even know that I'm going to change your mind, but I'm hoping I can get you to think about it. Is this what you want? Again, let me put this picture back up here. Is this what you want? Do you want political representatives that care more about people who aren't even citizens of the United States than they do about you? Let me ask that question again. Do you want representatives in the House of Representatives in the United States Senate who care more about people who aren't even citizens of your country than they do about you, a citizen of the United States? Now, if that's what you want, then go ahead. Stay a political Democrat. Go ahead. If, however, you're like, this doesn't represent me, then I have a question. What are you doing in the Democrat Party? Apparently, you agree with this, I guess. Is the only conclusion I can come to. T. Gagliotti says, I'd rather have respect for habeas corpus in the first place, but I guess that's crazy talk. Hey, I'm all for respect for rights and due process, which, by the way, we're going to get into that question here in just a second. We'll get into some of that. But for you rank and file Democrats out there, you're watching Van Hollen down there rubbing elbows up with this guy, right? You're watching all of this. Is this what you really want? Is this what you want to be a part of? Look, the MAGA movement, the Tea Party, whatever you want to call it, okay, has its faults, its wrinkles, its scars, its whatever, okay? But at its core, is a love for the country in which we reside. We want to see the country made better. We want to see a more free and more prosperous nation for we, the citizens of the United States. Now, that doesn't make us selfish. It makes us self-interested. Doesn't make us selfish. Oh, absolutely, Robert. Absolutely. They're absolutely, the Democrats are applauding this as righteous. Totally righteous. And I'm going to say something, and I know the answer to my own question, okay? I know this already. I do not understand why congressional Democrats want to die on this hill. I know the answer to my own question. They want this. They want millions more Kilmar Abrego Garcias in the United States. I'm going to play a little something that's intended to be funny. Here's another image for you. Take a look at this. Sitting there, sipping water. Maybe they're sipping margaritas. I don't know. Yep. Van Hollen, Garcia, maybe this guy's an interpreter. I don't know. For you rank and file Democrats out there, is this what you want? Do you want to be a part of this? Do you want to be a part of a party that cares more about people who are not even citizens of the United States than they care about you, a citizen of the country? Let's do it this way. Let's do it this way. If you live in Maryland, what are your thoughts about this? Seriously, what are your thoughts about this? Is this okay with you? Oh, you're being divisive. Whoa, wait a minute. I'm not the one that flew down to El Salvador to try to get a man out of jail who's not a citizen of the United States. Thank you very much. I'm just pointing out the obvious. Yeah, sadly, Robert, that is true. That is true. Now, this next one's going to be a little bit humorous, and I'm going to refrain from. There was one clip that I was sent I will not play. This one I have no problem doing. But, yeah, take a look at this. Take a look at this, y'all. You know, you Democrats out there that watch this live stream, and y'all know you do. Just think about it. Yeah. Now, again, I know I'm being facetious. I know that is AI. I know all of this. You know. But again, you've got a U.S. Senator. You've got a U.S. Senator flying down to El Salvador to try and bring back a man who is not even a citizen of the United States. That meme we showed earlier that said Judge number 1 determined him to be MS-13, Judge number 2 determined him to be MS-13. Everybody that's followed this issue knows this man is not a citizen of the United States. Lay aside the question of MS-13 for a moment, okay? WWG1 says, the one you won't play was from me right now. Now see, yes, it was from you. I'm trying to keep it tasteful. Believe me, it's funny as all get out, but it is Easter weekend. I'm just saying, I love you, but you know. Anyway, it's not just. I know that thing I just showed you was AI. But seriously, for you Democrats out there, I want you to y'all sitting out there. Oh, you guys are just making fun of us. No, we're trying to get you to wake up and realize what's happening here. I want you Democrats out there to take a good, long, hard look at this. I know it's Easter weekend. Maybe we shouldn't be talking about politics, but I'm sorry, when it gets shoved down my throat, I'm gonna, put it right back at you. And this guy's shoving it down my throat. As a matter of fact, he even had something to say about this, okay? With the following. Check this out, my friends. And boom.
Is just a gross violation of basic human rights and human decency. And, I asked the vice president if I came back next week, whether or not I could go visit Gilmore. And the answer was no, he couldn't guarantee that. I said, look, I may be the first member of Congress here, the first senator, but I can assure you more will be coming.
Really? Okay. Yeah. Well, if you want to fly down there, that's perfectly fine. Oh, by the way. If he may not be a senator, but I just want you guys to know that that Tim Walz has heard about what's going on in the El Salvadoran prisons, and he is working very hard right now to make sure that they all have access to menstrual products. Yeah. 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 Now, let me catch up with you guys because you guys are dropping some really good points here. Patty says, don't use our tax money. Well, funny you should say that, Patty, because I've got something here. And this, I don't know if you guys have seen this or not, but House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer has announced that he will block any Democrat request to use tax dollars to travel to El Salvador. Apparently, as the majority party in the Congress, he's got some latitude as chairman of the Oversight Committee. So, I mean, I get, and maybe this just applies to Oversight Committee members, but he's telling them, if you're wanting to go down there on the taxpayer's dime as part of our committee, yeah, it ain't happening. So somebody's standing up for some common sense. Let me back up to Lana's comment because I want to read this. Looks, for all that Democrat talk about being non-binary, they sure do think in binary ways. They can't grasp the nuanced position that putting American citizens first isn't equal to treating legal immigrants like crap, or more importantly, recognizing the difference between a legal immigrant and an illegal one. Looking at you, AOC. Oh, honey, that is so true. So true. Human decency. Is there a new definition? This whole story is pure. Oh, I agree with you. And this is the part for me that is just mind-boggling. Okay, I know why they're doing it. They're doing it for the politics of it. But you guys do realize we just had a national election last year, and the guy who won ran on certain specific things. That is, we're going to deport as many illegal aliens as we possibly can. We're going to make our streets safer from crime, and we're going to secure our border. Okay? Now, he ran on many other things, did Donald Trump, but those three things for sure, if you asked anybody, hey, what's Donald Trump want to do? Well, he wants to secure the border, he wants to deport as many illegal immigrants as possible, and he wants to keep our streets safe from crime. For sure, you could name those three, right? And yet, in spite of the fact that their national Democrat candidate for president got her California butt kicked from coast to coast, despite the fact that Donald Trump got more electoral votes in this election than he did in any of the previous two he's ever ran in, despite the fact that Hispanics, African Americans, and any number of different demographic groups swung to Donald Trump in huge numbers, the Democrats are treating this like nothing's ever happened. No. Those results don't mean anything. Here's what we're going to do. No. You don't understand. The American people have spoken. AOC, Chucky, Bernie, Nancy, Raskin, Van Hollen, all of you. The American people have spoken. They have said what they want to do. They're with this guy, not you. And it just boggles the mind. Now, let's deal with a couple things real quick. I can just hear some of y'all raging lefties out there right now. He's not MS-13. He's not MS-13. He is not. He was never proven to be MS-13. No, he wasn't MS-13. Oh, yeah? Well, I'd kind of like to go back to something that our dear friend Mr. Roberts said a moment ago. Let me find it real quick. I have got to find this. Where is it? Because, man, he absolutely dropped the hammer on this one. Oh, gosh, where is it? Come on. Anyway, Robert mentioned the fact that, oh, you didn't mean to do this voice the rest of the stream? Really? Well, no, I couldn't. My throat won't do it. But I don't mind doing it every so often because it sounds like a Democrat Karen. He's not MS-13. He's not MS-13. He's not MS-13. He's not. Oh my God, he's MS-13. These are the tattoos off of Kilmar Abrego Garcia's hand, off his fingers. Let me say that again. And by the way, before you lefties and you Democrats out there, start fainting from a case of the vapors, that's not a doctored photo. Okay. There are photos just like it everywhere. That's a picture of the fingers of Kilmar Abrego Garcia. And you know what all those symbols mean? Here, let me show you. Try this. The marijuana leaf represents an M, the smiley face an S, the cross a 1, and the skull disguised as a 3 equals a 3. He's MS-13. The immigration judge who heard his case back in 2019 determined he's MS-13. Why did he determine that? Because a confidential informant said, yep, this guy's MS-13. He's wearing the tats of an MS-13 member. I mean, some of y'all, look, I love you, but some of you lefties out there and y'all shilling for this guy, why you want to die on this hill, I don't know, because there's no amount of evidence you're going to produce that we can't refute and show you why you're wrong. And I'm not saying that with arrogance. I'm really not. But why y'all want to keep doing this, I have no idea. Now, let's get to this question about due process. He's denied his rights to due process. He's denied his rights to due process. Oh my God, he's denied his rights to due process. Really? Oh, well, here's something for you to consider from our unofficial friend of the channel, Mr. Robert Barnes, attorney at law. SCOTUS has repeatedly ruled that the only process due an illegal immigrant, which, by the way, that is exactly what Kilmar Abrego Garcia is. He's an illegal immigrant. Okay? The only due process that he is actually due is the process the executive branch affords him, and no more. The recent rulings flagrantly contradict controlling Supreme Court precedent. Now, lest you think that Barnes is talking out of his rear end on this one, he is referring very specifically to a case from the turn of the 20th century. And I've got it right here. It's called United States versus Jutoy. No, I did not say a Jew toy. Some of y'all out there, just cool it, okay? Jutoy. Okay, a Chinese immigrant. And this is a quick little synopsis of what was written in the case. Even though the Fifth Amendment, now this is what the court determined over 100 years ago. Even though the Fifth Amendment does apply to one seeking entrance to the country, and to deny him admission may deprive him of liberty, due process of the law does not necessarily require a judicial trial, and Congress may entrust the decision of his right to enter to an executive officer. Let me read that part again, ladies and gentlemen. Even though the Fifth Amendment does apply to one seeking entrance to the country, and to deny him admission may deprive him of liberty, listen to this, due process of law does not necessarily require a judicial trial, and Congress may entrust the decision of his right to enter to an executive officer. In simpler language, ladies and gentlemen, Kilmar Garcia, as his status as an illegal immigrant, according to the Supreme Court back over 100 years ago, they determined very simply, yeah, he's afforded due process as far as trying to enter the country, but just because of that doesn't mean that you got to give him a trial. So, this whole thing about, he's denied due process. Nah, not quite. A little bit further, I got part of the ruling on this. Let me pull it up real quick. Again, this is from that case I was just referencing, United States versus Jutoy. Although physically and this is the highlighted part, although physically within our boundaries, is to be regarded as if he had been stopped at the limits of our jurisdiction and kept there while his right to enter was under debate. If, for the purpose of argument, we assume that the Fifth Amendment applies to him and that to deny entrance to a citizen is to deprive him of liberty, we nevertheless are of the opinion that with regard to him, due process of law does not require a trial, that the decision may be entrusted to an executive officer, and that his decision is due process of law was affirmed. I thank you for pointing this out. Thank you for pointing this out. But yeah, we're going to let me get to this right now. As a matter of fact, if you guys are wondering what Gypsy is referring to, in the middle of the night, the Supreme Court blocks for now new deportations under 18th century wartime law. They did this around midnight last night. The Supreme Court on Saturday blocked, for now, the deportation of any Venezuelans held in northern Texas under an 18th century wartime law. In a brief order, the court directed the Trump administration not to remove Venezuelans held in the Bluebonnet Detention Center until further order of this court. Justices Thomas and Alito dissented. The High Court acted in an emergency appeal from the ACLU, contending that immigration authorities appeared to be moving to restart removals under the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. The Supreme Court had said earlier in April that deportations could only proceed if those who are about to be removed had a chance to argue their case in court and were given a reasonable time to contest their pending removals. Associated Press, Supreme Court already ruled on this over 100 years ago. They don't get illegal immigrants do not get a trial. Sorry, they don't. If the executive branch or an officer of the executive branch makes the determination that they need to go, that's about as much due process as they're going to get. And given that the individuals that we're removing are gang members, what are we arguing about here? T. Yagyati says the Supreme Court ruled 9-0 that Garcia's removal was a mistake. I have seen that. I've seen that ruling and I've read it. I'm not so sure. I'm not saying you're wrong, but I'm not so sure that I agree with your interpretation of the ruling. Yeah, they ruled 9-0. But I'm not so sure that they totally ruled that it was a mistake. But again, this is a point of law. I'm not necessarily going to get into it. But yeah, I've read it. I know what you're talking about. WWG1 says, so now if they don't self-deport, the military will need to go after them. They may have declared a terrorist group. They may have been declared a terrorist group after all. They are now fair game for the military. Possibly. Funny how leftists are allowed emergency consideration, yet actual constitutional violations are pushed aside. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, yeah. I don't know where this stops. I really don't. And here's something for you to consider. And this isn't from me, but this is from somebody else. And I got to put this up here because to me, this is a great point. I've wondered what process Obama went through to deport 3 million people. I don't remember any freaking out about that. And this is in response to what Barnes posted earlier. But it's a fair consideration. If that number is accurate, just for consideration, stop and think about this. Barack Obama deported 3 million people during his presidency. 3 million. But nobody got freaked out about it. There wasn't all this hand wringing, people going to courts and everything else. We just did it. Well, we need to reunite Kilmar Garcia with his wife. Really? Really? Would that be the same? Would that be the same wife that tried to get a restraining order against him a few years back? She was on with Michael Strahan on Good Morning America, and this is a very interesting exchange.
Have to ask it. You did take out a temporary order of protection against your husband in 2021. Were you in fear of your husband?
Husband is alive. That's all I can say.
Okay, and I'm not going to push on that apparently. But how much hope?
Now, look, I'm not inside their marriage. I don't know what exactly is going on. Did somebody get to her? Did she change her mind? What exactly is happening? I don't know. But the argument that says we need to reunite the husband and wife, yeah, well, that's kind of a murky situation at a minimum, don't you think? Salty Old Fart over on Rumble says she has $250,000 GoFundMe going. She's going to keep this grift alive. Really? Is that true? She's got $250,000 sitting in a GoFundMe? Okay. If somebody's got a link to that, let me see it. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong, Salty. I'm just saying if you got a link to that, let me see it, because I really would like to see that. I really would. Which, by the way, speaking of links, you sent me something earlier, and I've got to find that. There it is. Hang on a minute, y'all. Salty was gracious enough to send me a meme to something, and I gotta check this thing out real quick, because it might very well be applicable, and it probably is, knowing me. 1 second, folks. Talk amongst yourselves. Oh yeah. Oh, by the way, yeah. Hey, Mr. Van Hollen, just remember, not Maryland. Where you went this week, not Maryland. Thank you, Salty, for that. I appreciate it. WWG1 says Salty is correct about that GoFundMe. I saw it. Oh, okay. All right. Oh, my goodness. Then that might exactly explain what the heck is going on here. Oh, Patty, thank you very much. Sounds criminal to not deport criminals. Don't disagree with you, dear. I don't disagree. And thank you so very much for the kind contribution. Appreciate that very, very much. Indeed, I do. Yeah. Okay, hang on. WWG1 says a GoFundMe page for aid for Kilmar Armando Garcia's family has reached $239,000 as of its $260,000 goal, with 4.4 thousand donations. The fundraiser is organized by the National Day Labor Organization Net. Salty has got a link to this. He's got a link on this. Hang on a minute. Hang on, y'all. Give me a second here. Holy cow. Will you check this out? $244,000. Baby. Will you look at that? Holy cow. My goodness. What's the story on this? Loving father, husband, son, brother, union construction co-worker, and he's been wrongfully disappeared, deported, torn from his family due to a shockingly administrative error by the U.S. government. Holy cow. Wow. ICE is already trying to justify their actions by falsely labeling him a gang member. Holy cow. Salty, thank you for this. Yeah, really. No kidding, brother. No kidding. Dollars to donuts. They will not freeze any of the bank accounts which contributed to that cause. Probably so. Probably so, Adam. You may be right, brother. Salty old fart over on Rumble says she's getting paid for her discretion. She's not going to give two bleeps if he goes free. I'm not saying you're wrong, Salty, but I don't think you're wrong. Yeah. But inflation, egg prices, but I'll donate to criminal causes. Yeah, that's a great point. Lefties are always complaining about inflation and egg prices these days, but they apparently got the money to give to something like this. Unbelievable. So what's all the upshot of all this, you might ask? Where's all this going? Well, hang on a second, folks. Alex Morrow, editor-in-chief of Breitbart, was on with Laura Ingraham the other night, and the two of them came to a very interesting conclusion. And you know what? I can't necessarily disagree with them. So with that, check this out.
They want to have everything tied up with all of their trials and their injunctions so that Trump is stifled and can't do anything. He can't lift a finger without there being a lawsuit. This has been their design. They've been building a lawfare superstructure since 2008, when Mark Elias used lawfare to try to win that Minnesota Senate race for Al Franken that got us Obamacare. Once they had that, they had it in place. Remember, there were more injunctions against Trump in his first term than there were in the prior 100 years in this country. And they're already going to surpass that in the first year of this administration. This is the playbook. They're challenging Trump. Will Trump defy a court order? He hasn't done that yet. He doesn't want a constitutional crisis. Remember, even the Boasberg case, those people were on a plane and out of the country by the time that injunction came down. Miller played it perfectly. Will Miller play perfectly every single time? They're betting they're going to catch him slipping up and they'll be cornered.
Yeah, and they'll get the midterm win, and then they'll impeach him. That's their plan. And then if they win the presidency again, open the border again. So,
sadly, I think Laura Ingram's absolutely right. I really do. I think she's absolutely right. So for you Democrats out there, you rank and file Democrats, y'all that, every 2 years or 4 years or every mayoral election or whatever, you guys vote, you pull the lever, or you push the button for your Democrat candidate. Is this what you really want? Is this what you really want? Just something for you to think about. All right. It is 11:30. We're going to change up and switch to some different stuff real quick. But before we do, I'm going to do a real quick commercial. My name is Brian Trippett. I am the Front Porch Conservative, and this is the Easter weekend edition of Front Porch Brunch. A little thing we do, getting together, talk about the news. We get to blow off a little steam, talk about what's going on. We give our take on the whole thing. Not just mine, by the way, the audience. And I tell you what, and I've said it before and I'll say it again, I've got the best daggone audience on the whole of the internet. You guys are freaking awesome. We're on YouTube, we're on Rumble, we're on Twitter. If you're not subscribed to my channel, go ahead and give me a sub. You know you want to do it anyway. Also, leave a comment and chat. Hit that daggone thumbs up button, daggone it. And, share the link around. Hit the bell for notifications. And let's just see if we can grow this thing into something big, beautiful, and awesome. We are, by the way, to you folks over on Rumble, you guys are just absolutely amazing. You have pushed this channel of mine over 300 followers on Rumble. I mean, you guys are just amazing, and I love you so much. Thank you. And we are knocking on the door of 1,100 over on YouTube. So God love you guys. So if you got friends out there that enjoy this kind of commentary and they want to chime in or be a part of Fedora Nation, by all means, share the link to the channel and tell them to subscribe. We'd love to have you. Let's read this real quick. I got a DM on Facebook from a Dem who is fed up with our local school board. Turns out before any vote on any council, board, etc., in my small town of 100,000, all the Dems are called and told, whoa. Oh my goodness. Wow. I'm not surprised. I am not surprised at all. Totally not surprised. Yeah, that's, and that's a question that I've kind of got. It was rolling through my mind the other day. Why is it that Democrats are so much better at the mechanics of politics than our Republicans? I've never understood that. I mean, there's smart people on the Republican side. Not that I'm trying to shill for the Republicans. Don't get me wrong here. But I've never understand why it is when it comes to the execution of the mechanics of politics, the Democrats are so much better at it than our Republicans. I've never understood that. Never. There was a time when guys like Lee Atwater and Newt Gingrich and others were trying to make that a reality, but I've never understood that. Never, ever understood that. Because it would seem to me that something ought to dawn on somebody on the right side of the political aisle, that they realize, we better get good at voter registration, which Scott Pressler, to his credit, is an absolute, he gets it. But voter registration and getting people out to vote and all kinds of stuff. Now, Z Highness, you may be right about this. You may be absolutely right. Yeah, put your pride aside and band together. True. Going back to what Up in Connecticut said, our Democrat mayor, part-time, as he's also chair of the state Dems, released his funding for the upcoming fall election. For some reason, a third of his funding is from... Really? Why am I not surprised? Why am I not surprised at all, dear? Goodness me. I'll tell you what. We're going to shift. Normally, we save HodgePodge Stew for the very last part of the live stream. I'm going to go straight into it, and I'll tell you why, because I think it fits better with what I'm going to try and do this morning. And with that, let's do some HodgePodge. HodgePodge Stew, for those of you who are maybe here for the first time, and you're like, what the heck is he talking about? These are stories or things that I found or things brought to my attention that that are not top of mind, but people have brought them to me, or I found them on my own or what have you, and I thought, this might be worth talking about. Might be worth talking about indeed. So give me a second here, folks, and we'll start getting into this discussion. And hang on a minute, because I'm looking for something. Oh, yes. You know what? I should have played this earlier. Gypsy sent this to me, bless her heart. But you know what? I'm definitely we're going to do this one. Yeah, we were talking about Blue Origin and how they the recent space shot that they did. Well, we've got some footage from that space shot, so we thought we'd share it with you guys. So if you want to know a little more about what happened, please check this out and enjoy.
What's going to come out of her mouth, but really her heart.
And is that Jeff Bezos out there right by the capsule? Kind of hard to see.
That is.
Here we go. Yeah.
Here goes Jeff Bezos to open the hatch.
Oh. You didn't really close it again. Come on, guys.
Yes, folks, those are shots from the actual landing of the capsule for Blue Origin. So there you go. Thank you for that one, Gypsy. That's good. Do you realize? By the way, do you guys realize what today is? I got reminded of this. Yeah. Oh, Robert. Oh, my goodness. How could you, sir? How could you? Oh, my. Today is a very significant date in American history. Today is the 250th anniversary of the Battle of Lexington and Concord. I got reminded of this the other day. Couldn't believe it. 250 years ago, the shot heard around the world was let go. Just let that sink in. Here we are, 250 years later. Now, don't get me wrong. We've got our problems. God knows we've got our problems. But today is the day, 250 years ago, when the first shots of the American Revolutionary War rang out. Just something for you to think about, folks. Oh, goodness. What else do we have here? Oh, by the by, have you guys gone to the website COVID-19 lately? No, COVID.gov. Let me pop this up here from Mr. Jimmy Dore. Have you guys gone to COVID.gov lately? You really should. I think you'd be in for something of a surprise. Matter of fact, let's do this. Let me pop this up here for you. Let's see. Open that in a new tab. Yeah, let's do that. And oh my goodness, look at this. Lab leak, the true origins of COVID-19. Oh my gosh. The proximal origin of SARS COVID-2 publication used repeatedly by public health officials. Oh my word, folks, I'm gonna do you one right now. You might want to share this around with friends of yours. I'm just saying. Goodness me, yeah. Apparently, the White House repurposed COVID.gov and put that up there the other day, and oh my goodness, yeah, that kind of sent a shockwave through town or all over the country. But I do want to read something here from comedian Jimmy Dore, who is in his own right a live streamer, etc. Yes, Salty, it is so. That's exactly what they did. Check out the link, dude. It'll blow your mind. The White House just updated COVID.gov and accuses Fauci of lying and covering up the origins of COVID-19 virus and making up anti-science policies like social distancing, lockdown, masks, etc. Of course, people doing their own research knew all this 4 years ago, which is why we were censored, smeared, and slandered. The completely corrupt corporate media was also responsible and on the forefront of lying, pushing fake science and slandering doctors, scientists, and journalists who were telling the truth and exposing the lies. The thing that still blows my mind, the most people who do independent news shows, many of whom I know personally, completely went along with the lies, defended big pharma and government lies, cowardly refused to use their critical thinking skills, and still are gutless cowards afraid to cover the biggest story of their lives. They push the lies and the slander of people like Joe Rogan, Dr. Malone, RFK, and me with zeal and zero shame and will never atone or apologize. I, for one, will never forget and will continue to call for accountability and prosecutions. I hope that you do too. And that's from Jimmy Dore, folks. And I get it. I understand where he's coming from. I understand completely. So, yeah. Next time somebody goes out to covid.gov and they don't know this has been done, they're headed for one heck of a shock. Anyway. Yeah. Finally. Got a bit of a Ukraine update. And we got some statements from Donald Trump and from Secretary of State Marco Rubio that a little bit are surprising. Not really, I suppose, but it's kind of reaching the point where it's like, you've heard the old expression, you need to do your business or get off the pot. Well, I think the Trump administration or certain members of it, where the Ukraine war is concerned, are pretty much there. I want to play both of these for you guys. This is Trump from the other day when Emmett Oz was sworn in as the director of the agency that oversees Medicaid and Medicare. And someone asked him about, progress on the Ukraine negotiations. So with that, here's Trump's answer.
Are being killed in battle. It's a vicious battle with the best equipment, the best everything, and it is brutal. 2,500 young people a week. Some of them not so young, actually. They're getting older. They're getting older by the month. But 2,500 a week, and we're going to get it stopped ideally. Now, if for some reason one of the two parties makes it very difficult, we're just going to say you're foolish, you're fools, you're horrible people, and we're going to just take a pass. But hopefully we won't have to do that. Now, Marco is right in saying it. We want to.
Well, that was Trump. Now, I'm pretty sure in my recollection, and if I'm wrong, somebody straighten me out on this. I'm pretty sure in my recollection that was from Thursday. Well, Rubio the next day went out on the tarmac. He was flying from one place to another and had a press availability. Rubio got off the following comment, and I think you guys need to hear this because I'm going to say a couple things about this here in a second.
I think it's important to remind everybody that the Ukraine war is a terrible thing, but it's not our war. We didn't start it. The United States has been helping Ukraine over the last 3 years, and we want it to end. But it's not our war. I want everyone to understand that. And the reason why I make that point is the president has spent 87 days at the highest level of his government repeatedly taking efforts to bring this war to an end. We are now reaching a point where we need to decide and determine whether this is even possible or not, which is why we're engaging both sides. As you know, Ambassador Witkoff has had not one, not two, but 3 meetings with Vladimir Putin to determine the Russian perspective on this and understand what it would take for them to end it. We, General Kellogg, myself, and others have had repeated engagements with the Ukrainians. So we came here yesterday to sort of begin to talk about more specific outlines of what it might take to end the war, to try to figure out very soon, and I'm talking about a matter of days, not a matter of weeks, whether or not this is a war that can be ended. If it can, we're prepared to do whatever we can to facilitate that and make sure that it happens, that it ends in a durable and just way. If it's not possible, if we're so far apart that this is not going to happen, then I think the president's probably at a point where he's going to say, well, we're done. We'll do what we can on the margins. We'll be ready to help whenever you're ready to have peace. But we're not going to continue with this endeavor for weeks and months on end. So we need to determine very quickly now, and I'm talking about in a matter of days, whether or not this is doable in over the next few weeks. If it is, we're in. If it's not, then we have other priorities to focus on as well.
Okay, I got some things to say about this. And I'm probably going to get myself in trouble, but what else is new? I believe in what the good book says. Blessed are the peacemakers, for theirs shall be the kingdom of God. They shall inherit the earth. I know, don't get me wrong. Our hands are dirty in this thing all the way around on so many different levels and in so many different ways. I get it. Okay. We helped fund this war. We helped start this war. And I don't think that's too much of an exaggeration at all. I mean, you can go back to 2014 with the Maidan coup and you just chronicle everything we've done to get this thing to where it is right now. Thousands of dead on both sides. Okay. Our hands are dirty in this all the way around. But on the other hand, I admire Trump for saying, look, let's stop this. Let's try and stop it. I think Trump is now realizing the difficulty of his task. You got one side that wants to stop it and has certain conditions to make that happen. That's the Russians, okay? Now, you can say the Russians are right, wrong, whatever, okay? I get it. But they've very clearly said, this is what we want. This is what we're going to have in order to bring this to an end, okay? On the other side, you got the Ukrainians who are here. They're here. Here. We're going to do a minerals deal. We're not going to do a minerals deal. We're going to do a minerals deal. We don't want to sign it. Yada, yada, yada. Blah, 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 blah. And they're all over the place. I could probably argue, and I think successfully so, they're all over the place thanks to the Europeans, more particularly Starmer in Great Britain and our good buddy Emmanuel Macron in France. Okay. And what I'm getting at is this. I think Trump's now realizing I'm trying to get these guys to sit down today, and he's realizing I can't get these guys to come to the table. I can get the Russians to come to the table, but the Ukrainians are never going to agree with it. Now, I'm going to say something that's not original to me, but I think it's completely fair. Okay. It would not surprise me at all if somewhere in the next 2, maybe 3 weeks, if Trump comes out and says, you know what, we're done. We have tried. We have tried to get this thing sorted out. Every time we think we're close, somebody throws up one more roadblock. We're done. And not only, and I'll take now, how effective that strategy is going to be depends on one thing and one thing only. Whether Trump has the stomach to cut off the money, the weapons, and the intelligence sharing. Completely. I mean, just cut the Ukrainians off. Look, if it weren't for us, this war ends months or years ago. Okay? Now, if Trump says we're done trying to negotiate this thing and we're going to cut off every resource to the Ukrainians and sticks with that, then I think maybe they go to the negotiating table, that being the Ukrainians. Because at that point, what are they going to do? The Europeans can't afford to keep this war going. The French don't have the money. The English definitely don't have the money. We're the ones financing this war. So, we'll see what happens here. And I just got sent a meme that might very well describe Trump's philosophy about how to end the Ukraine war, and I'll just put this up here. What is today? Asked Pooh. It's the day we burn this mother effer to the ground, squeaked Piglet. My favorite day. Oh, you guys over on Rumble, you're killing me. Well, okay, I'm under the impression that's been stopped as well. But if there's still, what I'm saying is, if there's still money in the pipeline, in other words, all right, it was already appropriated, it hasn't been distributed, and it's still kind of flowing, that's what I'm getting at. Okay? In other words, at whatever point, money, armaments, intelligence sharing, whatever point it is in the pipeline, just cut it off. Just stone cold, cut it. I mean, turn the handle on the tap and just let it go dry. Okay. If Trump does that, along with making the announcement, hey, we're stopping negotiating this. Okay. Then I think that goes a long way toward bringing this to a conclusion. But that's just me. All right. I want to as we get ready to bring this thing in, there is one other thing that I want to get into a discussion of. And normally I don't necessarily do this, but I kind of thought it was appropriate, especially given that this is Easter weekend. And I want to get into a discussion, and I hope y'all stick with me on this. I want to get into a discussion briefly about religion, particularly Christianity in America. And I want to start off with a picture that was taken in all places, Portland, Oregon. This is taken by a picture of some young people somewhere at a park in Portland, Oregon. And it says, "Jesus can be trusted." Now, I thought this was pretty cool. Just speaking for myself. Okay. Eden's Refuge over on Rumble. "I'm late, but I made it. Good morning, you wingnuts." Well, hello, Eden. We're glad to have you here. Mwah. Glad to have you. I thought this picture was pretty cool. And I've been here, and part of the reason why I'm bringing up this discussion is I've been hearing all kinds of different things about the state of religion or Christianity in America. Are we on the decline? Are we on the upswing? Is there a religious revival taking place? What's actually going on? And I thought that was a pretty fair question. So I tried to put together some things this morning to give an accurate look at what the heck is going on. I mean, it's Easter weekend. It is one of the highest and holiest parts of the year on the calendar. I thought, okay, where are we at? What's going on? Because, I mean, from the millennials side of it, I'm hearing things about millennials, and I'm sitting there going, wow. I'm hearing reports of, outbreaks of revival, if I may use that term. Oh, wait a minute. I need to go back and look at that picture, I guess. Okay, I will go back and look at that, but I just interpreted that to be a cross. But that's just me. But anyway, sorry about that. I saw that and I wanted to respond to it fairly. But where are we at? So I tried to put something together this morning for the sake of fairness. This first website, the State of Church Attendance, Trends and Statistics. This comes from a website called churchtrack.com. Okay. And these, some of these numbers are from different surveys. Gallup, Pew. Okay. All right. Let me go back and look at that real quick. Because, I will freely admit if I'm wrong. I will freely admit wherever I'm wrong. Hang on a minute. All right, hang on a minute. I deleted it, and hopefully I can find it real fast. Give me 1 second here, folks, because, I do want to be fair about this. Hang on. I'm going to have to find it at another point. Darn it. Sorry about that, Gypsy. My apologies. But I will go back and look at it. But when I saw it, anyway. This is from different things. Gallup, Pew, and others. As far as like weekly church attendance, about 20%, according to Gallup, attend church on a weekly basis. 30+% never attend, and about 10% or a little more than that are once a month. But there are some stats in here that I thought were fairly interesting. Now here, and I want to point out something because Eden brings up something over on the Rumble side. I read an article earlier that claims Gen Z is coming to Jesus more and more every day. See, I'm hearing reports of something similar to that, and not just Gen Z, but also millennials, which actually is kind of what I want to get to next with this next chart. This is from a survey by Barna. 39% of millennials report attending church on a weekly basis, according to Barna's recent State of the Church report. This is a significant increase over years prior and places them at a much higher rate of attendance than Gen X or even boomers. And if you look at this, yeah, millennials are showing like close to 40%. Gen X is a little over 30. Boomers are right at about 25. Now, here's something that I thought was pretty interesting. Let me get to it real quick. Millennials, talking about specifically millennials are reportedly turned off by the high-profile church leadership scandals and the increasing political polarization in many congregations, causing them to lose trust in churches and religious institutions altogether. However, there are signs. Millennials make up the largest surge in returns to church as the pandemic has ended. We are entering a crucial life stage that makes them open to church as a way to connect and find guidance. Interesting. Interesting indeed. Okay. Now see, this is also a trend. Some people go to church online. I can totally understand that. There's a lot of reasons why church attendance is declining, but I thought that point about millennials having no faith in the institutions because of the scandals, I could absolutely see that. I mean, I'm old enough to remember the PTL scandal in the 1980s, Jimmy Swaggart, among others, and there have been a whole steady series of them since then, going into the 90s and the 2000s, and certain generations, when they see that sort of thing happen, they're like, you know what? Nope, I don't trust this. They care about spirituality. They are open to conversations about Christianity. But as far as being a part of an organized religion, however you want to define that, nothing to do with it. Salty old fart over on Rumble says, church is the people, not a building. Eden's Refuge, I agree with the decline due to denominations. I'm sure infiltrators sow discord between the denominations. Fair point. Denominations are at fault. JMO denominations are at fault for the initial decline of followers of Christ, that and technology. I can see that. I can see that too. I can see that. Yeah, this is I can understand that. I can understand where you guys are coming from. I really can. But I will say this. There have been reports, and again, this is anecdotal in some cases, so take it for what it's worth. There are reports of millennials, Gen Z, and others starting to attend church, particularly non-denominational. That's also a significant factor that I found. I mean, non-denominational, and some are even attending Orthodox churches. Here's a post from back in 2024. A survey of Orthodox churches around the country found that parishes saw a 78% increase in converts in 2022 compared to pre-pandemic levels in 2019. And while the historically men and women convert in equal numbers, vast many more have joined the church since 2020. Then they quote a gentleman named Father Josiah Trenham of Riverside, California. The last 4 to 5 years seen a massive uptick It shows no sign of tapering off. If anything, it's increasing still. It's happening massively in untold numbers all over the country. See, and it's been a long time since I've kind of looked into this issue. I'll freely admit that. But there is something I think going on out there. Now, how it shakes out in the long run, I don't know yet. But it seems like among younger people, there is a desire to find something beyond just this everyday life, beyond the material, beyond, beyond materialism and nihilism and everything else, which I think is healthy. How that's going to work out in the years to come, I don't know yet. I don't know. Salty Old Fart says non-denominations teach Bible more than normal denominations in a way that keeps people involved. Good point. Good point. Here's a report from up in Connecticut. I know the Seventh-day Adventist Hispanic church close to me is exploding with young men and their families. Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, I mean, to me, and this is just my observation, I could be dead wrong about all this, okay? Totally dead wrong about all this. It seems to me there are green shoots everywhere around the country in various places. And yeah, Salty Old Fart, I think you're right. You have to observe the evidence and come to your own conclusions. True. And this is from Z Highness. My sentiment is I've had my fun and time to get serious as a youth. Okay. I could see that. I could absolutely see that. Very interesting indeed. I'm going to pop an article on both sides, on Rumble and on YouTube, because I think this is worth discussing. It's an article from Christianity Today. Came out about a month and a half ago, almost 2 months ago now, talking about a study done by Pew Research about the state of Christianity in America. Read it at your own convenience. I thought you guys might find it interesting. But there's some things going on. And not just here, but in also around the world. I've got an article here from the Spectator, UK Spectator. And again, I will pop this in on both sides. If people find solace in going to church, I'm all for it. I just want to find a place that isn't too big, yet not too small. I found drawbacks with both. Too big, you're just a face in the crowd. That is very true. Too small, and things get tricky with gossip. Oh, very true. Very, very true. Very true indeed. So, there you go. All right, one last thing, and we'll bring this to a close. And I thought this was kind of appropriate given the weekend. From the Gospel of Luke. And now on the first day of the week, very early in the morning, they and certain other women with them came to the tomb, bringing the spices that they had prepared. But they found the stone rolled away from the tomb. They went in and did not find the body of the Lord Jesus. And it happened, as they were greatly perplexed about this, that behold, 2 men stood about them in shining garments. Then, as they were afraid and bowed their faces to the earth, the 2 men said to them, "Why do you seek the living among the dead? He is not here, but is risen. Remember how he spoke to you about when he was still in Galilee, saying, the Son of Man must be delivered into the hands of sinful men and be crucified, and the 3rd day rise again?" And they remembered his words, and they were returned from the tomb and told all these things to the 11 and to the rest. It was Mary Magdalene, Joanna, the mother of James, Mary, the mother of James, and the other women with them, who told these things to the apostles. And their words seemed like idle tales, and they did not believe them. But Peter rose and ran to the tomb. Stooping down, he saw the linen cloths lying by themselves, and he departed, marveling to himself at what had happened. Like I said, I just thought that might be a nice way to end the live stream, given that this is the Easter weekend. So with that, folks, may you enjoy this time with your families. If you do practice Christianity, I hope that tomorrow, Easter Sunday, is a glorious day for you, for he is indeed risen. And with that, we'll be back next week. We have an old friend of the electronic front porch who is stopping by. Ladies and gentlemen, please do not forget to stop by Monday evening, 7 p.m., as the unofficial economist of the electronic front porch is stopping back by. Dr. Robin McCutcheon is going to be here. So, yes, please stop by Monday evening, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central. And we'd love to have you here. Bring some questions about tariffs and interest rates and all kinds of good stuff, as the doc will be in and trying to help you get through this crazy thing we call the economics of life. So Monday night, 7 p.m. Eastern. But in the meanwhile, where tomorrow is concerned, have a happy Easter. I love you guys very much. Thanks for stopping by this morning for brunch. And remember, on your way out, hit the thumbs up, leave a comment in chat, hit the bell for notifications. And if you're not a subscriber to the channel, please do so. And yes, happy Deviled Egg Day too while you're at it. All right. Love you guys very much. Happy Easter. We'll catch up with you later. Bye-bye.